Hello, welcome to Premier Football Chat. This week we're going to preview the midweek games, which start tonight. So there's two games on tonight. The first one is between Brighton and Nottingham Forest, and that one's going to be a interesting game because Brighton have a new manager, and they're still waiting to get their first win of the season, and also Nottingham Forest, who will need to get some wins as well because they're not doing too great at the minute in the bottom three. And they've made over 20 signings at the start of the season, so they need to start picking up points. Even though they gave out a new contract to Steve Cooper, who looked like they might be getting rid of him, but they gave him a new contract. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get on. I think, it's at the Amex Stadium, so I'd give Brighton the edge, even though they still haven't won a game under Roberto Di Zerbi, but they played away at Brentford, which isn't easy, and they also played Tottenham at home, which is tough, and Liverpool away. So they've picked up 1 point under him. But I think that both teams will think that they can get their win in that one. So it's going to be a tight game, I reckon. But I'd probably give Brighton the edge just because Forest are finding it hard. But at the same time, if Forest are going to pick up an away win, there's no better place than doing it against a team who haven't won in the last few games and also got a new manager. And the next game is also that game. So the Brighton Forest game kicks off at 7:30, and there's another game which is Crystal Palace against Wolves at Selhurst Park. That game kicks off at 8:15. So I think Wolves got a win against Forest at the weekend. So they scored a penalty. It was a handball from Toffolo, which gave away the penalty, and Wolves converted it. And they don't really score many goals. They just got rid of Bruno Lage as well, so they'll be still finding it hard without a new manager. But it's a chance for the players to express themselves, play with the handbrake off, because they don't really score many goals. So there's a chance for them to impress because they might just before their new manager arrives. So it's a good game at Crystal Palace as well. So they also finished goalless at Leicester. It was a boring game. I didn't really watch it, to be honest. So they'll be looking to get a win. Palace, because last time at home they played Leeds and they were really good in the second half in that game. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, that one. And tomorrow, Wednesday, is Arsenal versus Man City. Well, that game has been postponed because Arsenal have to play PSV in the Europa League. That game against PSV was previously postponed. So it's been rearranged. So then the other games tomorrow, there's Bournemouth versus Southampton at Bournemouth Vitality Stadium. So that's a South Coast derby. I think it's going to be an interesting game because they both picked up a point at the weekend. So Bournemouth drew 2-2 with Fulham in an entertaining game. They scored a really good goal through Dominic Solanke, who's also got an assist as well. So they're scoring a few goals and they're unbeaten under Gary O'Neill, who's their interim manager. I think they should give him the job, to be honest, because they're picking up points and they're getting points against teams in and around them and teams that you expect them to get points against. So they keep doing well and getting the points. So I think they'll pick some up in this game as well. Southampton got a point against West Ham through a deflected shot where the referee got in the way, Andre Bowen. So I think that'll be a draw potentially, Bournemouth Southampton. And then the other game is Liverpool against West Ham at Anfield. So speaking about West Ham, they managed to get a point. Declan Rice got the equaliser at Southampton. Very good goal. He needs to score more goals though, because it was his first Premier League goal in nearly a year, and he's got all the tools in his tool bag, but he just needs to add more goals. And yeah, Liverpool, like, they seem to be up and running now. Got a big win against Man City. Mo Salah, who missed the one-on-one with Edison, who made a brilliant save. He was in a similar situation where Alisson kicked the ball out, but this time he managed to win the ball against Cancelo and then was through one-on-one. But this time he lifted it slightly over Edison and then put Liverpool 1-0 up, and then they just seem a bit more solid now. Van Dijk was on his game, and I think Van Dijk's been getting a lot of criticism. But for me, Van Dijk's just doing really good. He's doing okay. He's just been playing within himself. So I think the criticism's been a bit OTT. He hasn't been at that high standard that he had been over the past 3 seasons or so, but he's still got quality, and he proved it as well. Defended really well, and so did Joe Gomez as well. Because I highlighted him as a potential weakness in that game against City, but he was played centre back instead of right back, and he had a really good game. And I think in this game against West Ham, like Liverpool, despite all their issues with like defence and stuff like that, haven't lost a home game for a long time in the league. So and it's at home again, so I can't see them losing to West Ham. It'll be 3 points for them. And the Klopp should be suspended from the touchline because he got sent off, didn't he? So that was an action-packed game. Had a lot in it against City. Mo Salah got fouled a couple of times, but he didn't get any free kicks. The free kicks weren't given, so we got pulled down once by Rodri and once by Bernardo Silva. But the referee didn't give a free kick. But when Haaland pulled down Fabinho, the referee played on, but he went when Phil Foden scored. But when Phil Foden scored, he went back to VAR, and VAR said that there was a foul on Fabinho by Haaland, and then the referee overturned it, so it got disallowed. But it was an action-packed game. There was a bit of controversy at the end because the Liverpool released a statement saying that the concourse was trashed, and there was a lot of things, chants about Hillsborough as well, and graffiti related to the Hillsborough disaster, which I think is totally uncalled for. And also Liverpool throwing coins at Pep Guardiola. It's just very volatile. We want to see football played in the right way and the atmosphere in the right spirit, but we don't want to cross that line. It had a bit of an edge to it, that game. So we got the West London derby between Brentford and Chelsea. It's going to be a good game, this one, because they both picked up points picked up 3 points in the previous game. Brentford scored a good goal through Ivan Toney, lovely flick through the legs of the Brighton defender into the corner. And he scored a penalty as well, very nonchalant, ice cold. It's that walk that he does. He just walks up to the ball and doesn't even look at the ball. He waits for the keeper to move and then just slots it into the other corner. So I like that technique, and I don't think Brentford have missed a penalty in the last 30 penalties or so, around about that number. And Chelsea scored 2 goals through Mason Mount. His first goal was very good against Aston Villa, very composed and capitalised on the mistake. And the second one was a free kick. I think Chelsea playing well in spells under Potter. They are quite at that level that he wants them to be at, but you can see the qualities there, and they're getting the results, and they're definitely improved under Potter. So so I think that game is going to be. It's hard to predict that one. It's a difficult place to go to. I think Chelsea will probably get the win. Maybe. I think I'll have to lean towards that. It could be anything that game. I'll lean towards Chelsea. And then there's Newcastle as well. Newcastle, who got a point at Old Trafford, they face Everton. So that'll be a good two very good clubs, very passionate fan bases. So that'll be a good atmosphere at St James's Park. I think Newcastle will win that game. They didn't score at Old Trafford, but should have had a penalty through Callum Wilson and hit the post and the crossbar through Joe Linton. So I think at St James's Park, Newcastle should beat Everton. I reckon. I'd say by maybe 2-1 or something. Yeah, 2-1 maybe 3-1. And Man United, 8:15 kick-off against Tottenham. That's a big, big game. Tottenham are in really bounced back really well since the North London derby defeat with a win against Everton. Harry Kane with the penalties, quite a few penalties at the weekend. And Højbjerg scored a good goal. And they travel up to Old Trafford, and I think it'll suit them because they'll want to counter attack. So I think as the away team, they'll be happy to sit in, let Man United have the ball. Man United will tend to find it difficult to break teams down when they're given the ball. So it'll be a tough game for Man United. I reckon Tottenham might get the away win because they've got so much quality on the break. But Richarlison's injured. He came off. Man United were struggling really in their attacks with Ronaldo and Sancho and Rashford against Newcastle. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough game for Man United because they're going to have lots of the ball, and Spurs will be looking to sit back and counter attack, and they're very dangerous on their counter attack. And I find that when Man United have a lot of the ball, they find it difficult to break teams down. So yeah, I think Spurs might win that game, but it's a big period for Man United because they've faced Tottenham and Chelsea. So they'll be looking to get 4 or 6 points out of those two games, and we'll know a lot more about Ten Hag and Man United's team as a team when they play those two games. And Thursday is Fulham. They face Aston Villa. Aston Villa, and that's at Craven Cottage. Aston Villa conceded 2 sloppy goals for me when they faced Chelsea last time out, another West London club. So Tyrone Mings had a head of the ball. It was like a 50-pence header, and they conceded the first goal through that. And the second goal was through a free kick from Mason Mount when Martinez moved to his right, and his wall was to his right as well. But Mason Mount hit it, the free kick, and it went towards the left, kind of in the middle. But by the time he tried to get back, it'd already gone in. So it was difficult for him to get back by the time he realised that he'd overcompensated and stepped to his right too much. But I feel like with Gerrard, he's under pressure, obviously, and I feel like the media are trying to give him more time because he's an English manager and whatnot. But it's a difficult one because as much pressure as you're under, you can't help the individual errors that led to those goals. That's down to the players. They need to take responsibility for that. And it's difficult as a manager when you're under pressure and you see those kind of mistakes. But they've got the quality in there. Like I say, they've got Watkins, they've got Ings, they've got McGuinn. I've mentioned these players before, so they should be doing better as a team. And Fulham, they're doing really well. They're going good. Got a good point at home against Bournemouth. I feel like that was a decent game. Mitrovic is coming back. He's not fully fit yet, but he's managed to get on the score sheet. So it'll be a big boost to have him back. And I think that game will be a tight game, but I feel like Villa need to get something out of this game, and they probably will. And last up, Leicester versus Leeds. So that's going to be at the King Power Stadium on Thursday, 8:15 kick-off. And I feel Leicester got a 0-0 in the last home game and a 4-0 win in the previous home game against Forest, so 2 unbeaten at home. However, in that game against Palace, it wasn't the best game. Like the only real chance they had was through Harvey Barnes, and they really need to start picking it up because Brendan's under a lot of pressure. feel like he's sort of resigned to being getting sacked, but it's sort of like dragging out in it really between him and Leicester. But he's a good manager, man. He's a good manager. They've got good players there. They should be doing better than what they are. But what it is, they haven't had the players coming through to challenge these players that have been at the top for so long. So I feel like they've got a bit comfortable and they've not really brought anyone in as well. So his hands are kind of tied there. But they're playing a Leeds team who have lost the last two against Palace, so they lost 2-1 at Selhurst Park, but played well in the first half. And then they lost against Leeds, against Arsenal as well. So they've played well in those games, but they haven't picked anything up in those games. So I feel like they can get something out of this game against Leicester because they have been playing well, though. They really should have scored against Arsenal. Bamford missed a penalty, didn't even hit the target. But he's back now and he looks like a bit of a threat as well for Leeds. And they just need to cut out those individual mistakes because when they played Arsenal, Rodrigo tried to play a switch and it was a blind switch and it's like a schoolboy. It's proper schoolboy defending. Attacking. Just made a switch from left to right and they just put the defence under pressure. Saka scored. But I feel like Leeds will probably get the win in this game. This was actually Jesse Marsh's first game as the Leeds boss last season as well. And I think they lost 1-0 that game. But they played well there at the King Power. So I think this time they'll get the win because out of the two teams, Leicester and Leeds are playing the better football at the minute. So yeah, that's the summary of the Premier League games that are taking place midweek from Tuesday to Thursday. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you. Peace out.